Hello, everyone. Good to see all of you. We are here on a Friday afternoon. I want to say a rainy Friday afternoon. Hello, Michelle. She waves and says hello. Hi, Diana. Good to see you. Glad you could join us today live. Well, our question for the day is kind of a difficult one for many. Uh, I think it's a tough one, but Philip addresses it. And it's about how can we love an enemy? And, we're told spiritually, love your enemies, but how do we do that? And why do we do that? And what if that enemy took something of great value to us, like the life of someone we love? How do we get past that anger? Philip tells us how to do that today. Michelle sends a heart, a purple heart. Thank you. Um, a purplish pink heart, a beautiful heart, and she's dressed in purple. So, in her wave. So, thank you. If you have questions, and Michelle says, hot here in Virginia, 89 here today. Yesterday in Ohio, where I am, I'm west, a little bit northwest of Columbus, north of Dayton, south of Toledo. I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere and not far from a lake I can actually walk to. So that's nice, but it's turned cold today. And we have had, yesterday I was sitting outside. The last couple of days I was actually working outside whenever I got a chance. So it's been nice. Yes, it has been. Today, though, it's turned a little chilly again. And before next week is out, I think it's going to go down into the 30s at night, even 31. Excuse my chair here, it squeaks, but it's comfortable. So what I do want to say, and we're going to get started real quick here, but I do want to say first, if you have questions of a general nature, of an esoteric spiritual nature, or how to make life better for all of us, just put them in the comments below or email them to me directly. That's fine too. You can get my email address in the information below. It's on my website. So just go there. You can even call me, but that's a little more difficult to reach me, or a little more difficult for me to write down your questions. So just send me your questions. If they're private questions about your life, go ahead and set up a session and we'll answer those questions for you. When I do private sessions, it's a little bit different than what I do here on the YouTube. On the YouTube, because this is much more difficult for me than talking one-on-one, whether on the phone or Zoom is actually a little more difficult for me than just talking on the phone or person to person. Or standing, I used to, before COVID, would stand in front of an audience of several hundred or a few hundred, or a few dozen, and give everybody private messages. And that actually is easier for me than doing this. And that's because I'm able to tune into your private energy. This is talking on a broad scale. So this is a little more difficult. So this, I write it out. But am I working with my spirit guide, Philip, when I'm working with you one-on-one? Of course. Of course. I don't know anything. I get all my information from Philip. And Miss Piper has decided to join us and curl up in her bed. She was hiding. She was a little mad at me because she didn't get another treat that she wanted. Hello, Juliet. She says, good afternoon. So good to see you here. All right, here we go. This is the basic question. How can we love an enemy? Philip says, let us begin by looking at the words enemy and love. And yes, by the way, we will get a message from one of my books, Philip's book, The Master's Book of Answers. And as you know, each page is a different message. So we will get that. But back to the question, or back to the answer to the question, can we love an enemy? And the answer, let us begin by looking at the words enemy and love. We will broaden enemy to mean anyone you feel has done you harm or hurt you in any way. Love is a much deeper energy than the human emotion. When we speak of love, we speak of the energy of spirit, or God, if you prefer. To understand what we are about to say, you must remember that you are a spiritual being partaking of a human emotion. As you grasp this truth, you will better understand and experience the love that you are. As you listen today, you will see little or no understanding, but will see a glimpse of light and no understanding will come. Or you will understand at the human intellectual level, or you will know the truth because you have experienced your own pure love, your spiritual being. So Philip is telling us, well, you got it. That you'll either you get it a little and see a light, you'll get it a lot, but intellectually, or you'll get it. It's basically what he's saying. These moments and these moments of, I think Maslow called them peak moments, um, where we just tap in and something opens and changes, and we recognize we're really getting that from our spiritual self, from our deeper self, or seeing the beauty of something through our deeper spiritual self. These moments may last only for minutes, but they open doors in your mind that are not yet open to all. Once open, the doors widen to assist your growth. Of course, you also may have the opinion all we say is hogwash. If so, it will be quite difficult to love an enemy. I want to stop and I want to say, Michelle, thank you. I saw that donation pop up on the screen and it just overwhelmed me. And so I had to stop and say thank you. And I want to say today I got a notice from that money that I was being sent donations and money was being put into my checking. And I want to say, all of you, whether you go to my website and donate or you donate through YouTube or however, thank you. I am so grateful. I mentioned last week, I believe, that I went back and watched one of my videos and found the ads, which I thought were maybe at the beginning that you could skip and at the end that you could skip, but they were all the way through. And it just, I said, this won't do, not for what I'm doing. And so I'm going to do my best not to have ads anymore, but thank you so much. You know how appreciated you are. Now, back to what we were saying here. And I'll just read that last paragraph because I think it's kind of funny. Of course, you may also have the opinion all we say is hogwash. If so, it will be quite difficult to love an enemy. For all others, you will grasp all we say at the level of your growth. As you grow, more understanding will come. To love an enemy to love an enemy, it is to be remembered doing so is not to like the human act that caused you pain. You do not even have to like the human, or do you need to allow them near you? So what he is saying there is loving the enemy doesn't mean we don't have boundaries. We absolutely must have boundaries. And if somebody has harmed you, you don't have to let them be in your life, but you can still love them. And he'll explain more about that. Philip's syntax is different from mine. And so sometimes I do stumble. So bear with me here. You must also understand loving the enemy has more to do with you and less to do with them. They may be affected on two levels. The human, because they may need to deal with their own emotions and the energy of the greater world, and that world is created by our emotions, thoughts, and actions, which they might pick up on. Your loving an enemy may be needed to fulfill a soul contract, or to fulfillment may be referred to as a karmic debt. It is easy to blame another for your woes, but it is you who created life. It is you who brought this person into your life. When you are able to grasp this, you are then able to ask the purpose of this person being in your life. It may be for that of which we have already spoken. It may be your anger attracted their anger. It may be your need to love yourself attracted what you perceived as love. I love that when we need to love ourselves, we so often look outside of ourselves instead of looking within. And then if we look outside, we're not going to necessarily attract someone who really does know how to love us, but we're going to attract someone who loves us at the level we love ourselves. Yuck. If we're not loving ourselves, guess what we're attracting into our lives. So that being is coming in, that other person is coming in to help us in so many ways. Doesn't seem like it though often, does it? The question must be put to yourself. Does that person make you feel powerless because you do not recognize your own power? Once you are able to look within to learn why the other is in your life, the first step to loving your enemy is easier. That is forgiveness. The step to love is then natural. There may still be the human emotion of sadness, but it will feel much less compared to the greater feeling of deep gratitude for the so-called enemy once being in your life. The loss of what the other took pushed you into the service of your soul contract. As you understand the workings of the energy between you and the enemy, you realize there is no enemy. There is only that which guides you to live more deeply in love. You become the heroine or hero of your own love story. As you understand the loss of what the other took pushed you into the service of your soul contract. As you understand the workings of the energy between you and the enemy, you realize there is no enemy. There is only that which guides you to live more deeply in love. You become the heroine or hero of your own love story. Michelle sends a heart. Thank you. And also says, beautiful message. Thank you. You know, I am always amazed at what comes through when I write your questions out and ask Phillip for the answers. I always learn something. And even if it's something I think I knew, I always learn something anyway, because and the more I learn, the more I know I know so little. I have so much to learn. So I thank you for the questions, and I thank you. Juliet said, you become the heroine or hero of your own love story. Beautiful. That's one of my favorite lines too. And if we read the old mythology, the stories, what's really neat about them is they're telling us what our lives are. If we look at master teachers and we look at their lives have not been easy, but they live in a sense of joy anyway, or a sense of, but the human self still will say right from wrong. It's really fascinating. Fascinating. I don't have a better word. Let's get our message for the week, shall we? People, by the way, this book is available on my website or Amazon.com. I want to say, just make sure it's this book and it is coming from either my publisher or B, because there are people copying books out there and the writers end up not getting the royalties. So do that with any book that you buy on Amazon. And I use this book almost every day to get a message from Phillip, and people call me up and they say, oh, yes, that message was really right on. And sometimes they're very cryptic. I'm hearing left, by the way. If you heard left, our intuition's it's in sync. If you heard right, that's a message you need to pay attention to. So on the left, that which you dwell on, you become. That which you dwell on, you become. If you're dwelling on fear, if you're dwelling on anger, if you're dwelling on love and kindness, you're drawing that to you. That's what Phillip is telling us in this message. And so we draw those so-called enemies into our life to help us grow, to help us become better in our lives, better human beings, as well as certainly growing spiritually. So that which you dwell on, you become. That's page 104. Am I saying this is easy? If it were easy, believe me, I would be an angel, and I am far from being an angel. If you heard right, while making a living, it is also necessary to make a life. While making a living, it is also necessary to make a life. And I think that's an important message for this week also, because I think we can get so wound up in helping others that we forget to take care of ourselves. So we have to have those boundaries that allow us to take care of ourselves. Well, I am so grateful, Michelle and Juliet. I'm so grateful to see you. And I'm so grateful to all of you for the thumbs up. That really helps me. Tell your friends, let's grow this channel. Let's get these messages out to the masses, because we are living in such a difficult time of change right now. Let's change everything with more love, starting with our own lives. And believe me, I know it's a challenge. It's a big challenge to look at that person who has hurt you or taken something valuable from you and look at them and find out, what does that have to do with me? If that person makes me angry, what about the anger in me? Loving our enemies is really about loving ourselves, isn't it? Thank you, my friends. And Michelle says, thank you for all you do. Thank you. And thank you for your help, helping me with all I do. I love you. Next Friday is the last Friday of the month, so that'll be our predictions for May. Can you believe it's May already? Oh my, time is flying by. I love you. Oh, hello, our dear friend from down under. And she's sending happy faces and flying leaves of love. See you soon. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for your comments. And thanks for the questions. See you next week. Bye.